Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Big Dog Gaming, the channel where you learn all about board games and war games here. Today we're doing another take in the series, Which One Should I Buy? And we have two classic Vietnam games, both of them from GMT Games. One of them is Vietnam 1965 to 1975, and the other is the coin series, Fire in the Lake. And both of these are Vietnam games. The premise of the video is which one should you buy? You only have enough money for one. You want a game on the Vietnam War. You got a hankering to play Vietnam. Which one of these should you invest your money in? Well, to me today it's a no-brainer question on this one here. Just both of them tackle the campaign of Vietnam, the Vietnam War. Both of them very different games. Fire in the Lake, it's a coin series, area control, card system. A lot of people familiar with it. Coin series covers a lot of different subjects. I might get a little grief for this, but it kind of feels almost cookie cutter-ish, where you just copy and paste it to whatever subject matter you're working on. But this one, Fire in the Lake, is the Vietnam installment in that coin series here. Now the other one we have is a remake from an older game, Vietnam 1965 to 1975, and this is more your traditional war game. Now, if you remember my caveats in previous video, I'm always going to lean towards monster games, and I'm always going to lean towards hex and counter games. Not that I oppose other games, but those are what I tend to lean more towards. And like I said at the outstart of the video, I mean, this one's kind of a hands-down no-brainer. Vietnam 1965 to 1975, that's the game you want. It really gives you the feel of the Vietnam War. It's a long game or short game, depending on which scenario you play. The actual campaign game is extremely long. It covers the 10 years of the war. Each year has about 8 turns to it, with many turns every 2 turns in between, where you bring on new forces and roll for your coups and things like that. So it's a long game if you play the campaign game, which actually is right now online on Vassal. I'm involved in a campaign game. We've actually made it up to 1966, almost to 1967. So it's, I'm playing the Viet Cong and the North Vietnamese. But you really get a feel for the war in this one. The biggest gripe about this one's listed as a 7 on the complexity range here, whereas the coin series isn't very complex at all. I mean, it's rated as a 5. You could probably rate it actually lower than that, to be honest with you, because like I said, once you learn the rules from one coin series, it's pretty much copy and paste to the next one. I don't even read the rules for them anymore. I just got the one for China 1930s against Japan, and just, like I said, I didn't even bother reading the rules. But with this, the GMT one, or with the 1965 to 1975 one, is listed as a 7 complexity. It's really not that complex. I mean, the operations charts take you through step by step, depending on which operation you pick. What makes this a hard game to learn is the information you have to fill out every 2 turns, right? And what they don't really explain it to you in the rules, but you're supposed to fill out the sheet to keep track of what you're supposed to keep track of. So I think if they included an explanation for that sheet, the game could drop complexity down to 6, or level 6. That part makes the game complex. Plus, rolling for each individual province can kind of wear you down every 2 turns, right? But again, the war is a long war, and this is a long game. Now, I did a video on how to fill out those sheets. A video I wish somebody had done for me, because there was a lot of head banging against the wall to figure out. I'll even show you the sheets that I'm talking about here. Give me 1 second. These sheets here, right? So, what they don't explain to you is that in this game, commitment is like a sort of, and commitment, morale act like a currency, right? So, your morale is your credit line, how much you can spend. Commitment is what you spend, right? Commitment is what you spend on units. So if the United States brings in the 101st Airborne to Vietnam, They pay X amount of commitment points. Once you hit your morale, once your commitment equals your morale, you can't spend any more commitment. In fact, you start having to decommit as your morale comes down. And so the way it works is the United States starts with a very high morale. The Viet Cong, the North Vietnamese, start with a very low morale. As the war goes on, the United States morale comes down. The North Vietnamese army, their morale goes up, and eventually the U.S. has to start decommitting, right? And that's what, for the North Vietnamese, the Viet Cong, you're holding on until that happens. The ARVN and the Viet Cong, they depend on the North Vietnamese and the United States to spend commitment on them, for them to function. So that's how the game's played. Over time, it just wears down the North Vietnamese, just wear down the U.S., if you play it right. Whereas on the coin game, you're sort of at the mercy of the cards. I mean, you got different operations you can do, but every single time I've played Fire in the Lake, the North Vietnamese have won. I just, to me, it just, it doesn't feel like the U.S. has much of a chance in the game. But leave a comment. I mean, what do you think? If you had to buy one, which one of these two would you buy? Would it be Fire in the Lake or Vietnam 1965 to 1975? For me, like I said, it's a no-brainer. Vietnam 1965 to 1975 is the one I would go with.